Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet, I'm Roy. I coach Destroy and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Warn Dogs.
And Calvin.
Coach of Calvinator.
One down, boys.
Well, yes, right.
One down.
In the
So
can.
our first buy round is officially down. We got our first three trades, access to the three.
Yep.
Hopefully we used them wisely and come out feeling really good about ourselves for the next 4 weeks. Keep attacking them.
Dog.
Right, I'll get it over and done with. 1564 was the score.
Hang on.
It is one of the worst scores I've ever had in my whole career.
How many have you got to come?
Good one. You've been working on that one, I reckon.
1564. So I did some research. 1564.
You're an idiot.
That's when Shakespeare was born.
We've used these jokes
No, I'm being serious.
before.
And
Maybe not this far back in the
Guess what was
history books,
invented, right? Guess what was invented in 1564?
What?
Grey lead pencil.
Really?
Yep. Well done, dog. You're hitting them.
All right. Well, how can you do it? I had 5 tons in my 19, so that's not very many at all.
That's it.
5 players with subs.
5 subs.
5 subs.
Like
Wow.
you needed that.
When you're halfway through the season, you shouldn't have these guys. I bought a player, a good premium player.
Yeah.
Played behind the ball, epic roll, 94. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, I told you.
What
Hard
is
watch.
that?
Hard watch, Merritt.
What was that?
My
know.
whole team's a hard watch.
Yep.
He thinks he's Messiah, Wang
does.
and Miller back
He does.
there. He
I
ain't.
Took a 107 from my VC because I'm soft.
Hey, you should have
I'm a
listened.
coward.
Should have listened.
I'm a coward
Yep. You are a
You
coward.
are.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
and missed out on 147. Extra 40 points would have helped me.
I
But
don't
anyway.
think so. No, I don't think it would have.
No, it wouldn't have helped much, but, actually would have got me a 1,600.
Oh, it would have.
Oh,
A 1,600.
Heaps
So
more happened
down,
in that century.
I slid.
Byro's invented.
I slid 3,600 spots
You
this
did
week.
what?
I
3,600 spots.
doubled my ranking. Or halved it, whichever way you want to look at it. It's just not good. 48,000th for the week.
He sounded
48,000.
like,
I don't reckon. I did the maths on how many people traded in Clark last week.
Yeah.
Not that many.
Not that many, dog.
So therefore, people beat me that gave up
They're not even
weeks
playing.
ago.
They're not even playing.
Right. Talk about your team then, Calvinator.
I wasn't much better, dog. Well,
Oh.
no, I lie, I was. Significantly better.
226
Yeah.
points better.
1790 was mine. I did slide though, so 71 spots for the week puts me at 237.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing because I thought I was knocking.
You're still within range.
I'm still knocking, but my arm's getting further away from the door.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Good thing you're not trying to kick down the door because
that's
your feet
it.
wouldn't get real close to it. I'm back.
So
I'm back. That's
you've
all right.
turned up sounding like Dean Cox, right? And
Poor old Coxie.
Yes.
Far out.
yeah, not good. Not good, but you know what is good? This guy. You are
Roy's
flying.
No,
flying.
so-
this time last week he was Dean Cox.
Oh, wasn't
Oh,
he?
100%.
Yeah.
And it's been a long road to recovery, and it's still actually work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm not over that. I am still a bit coxy, but 1825 was solid, step back in the right direction. 270th, up 7 spots. So now I launch.
Here it is! That's what you did, Jenny. You stuck it right up them.
Right, who stuck it up him? I'll tell you who stuck it up him. And you, even though I was flat as a tack last week,
Yep.
I still rock up and help.
You do.
And if you listened, well done. Because that means you were on Gryan Miers,
Yeah.
who pumped out 137, put on an absolute show. Oh, where did he or Roy say what he's doing out there? Playing behind the ball, racking up all over the
He's
ground.
very good.
And that's what he did. And you are welcome.
Right, I traded in Nasiah Wanganeen Miller.
Hard watch.
Mate, 21 at the half, goes off for a concussion test. However,
Wow.
96 in the second half, 58-point quarter pounder to finish with 15 kicks
15 kicks in the last quarter?
In the last quarter.
It's incredible.
Saved it.
I thought you ruined him.
Oh, there we hard watch, all
Poor
right.
old dog, because he was already rightfully flat as a tack. I'm up the bush walking around, pretty flat myself,
Yeah.
actually. And I got the message. I was like, this is not good. And then I went home.
Yeah.
Nasiah on fire.
Yeah. Dominated it.
All right. I don't have a plus
You've got to
3
have one,
for this
dog.
week.
Yeah,
Find
have to,
one.
dog.
Find one. Something.
I can't.
You can
There
go
must
on.
be someone
You had
who
5
did a
tons.
job for you.
You had 5 tons.
I'd like to say Baslenka. He deserves it.
He
because
does.
Cowan gives him no respect.
Hey, he's in the top 5 this week.
Oh,
I
is he?
told you to do it, dog. I said your team's so
I was a
bad.
coward and didn't make him my my captain.
Yep.
Does that rule
Missed
him out
out
of
on
a plus
points.
3?
So it rules him out. But he should get one because Calvin disrespects him and I don't, apart from the fact that I didn't make him my
You
captain.
spat it completely.
You have.
I'm an idiot!
It was the most disgraceful display that I've seen.
Because it's just not acceptable.
Righto. This is becoming really, really unacceptable. And I hate to say it, but we have been here before. So in the bye rounds, you need your big dogs to step up. They need to cover these 5 vests that Dog's getting, for example, right? Josh Dunkley. So that 82 follows up from a 93 and a 94. This is unacceptable areas. This is a guy who needs to be hitting ceiling scores. Let's cast back to the start of the season where he started 130, 111, 110, 116. Where is a glimmer of that?
Fraud.
I know, like he does little jobs in there and stuff, but he's always done them.
Yep.
Including the first 4 weeks. That 82, that's just not cutting it.
Right. For the
He's
second...
a fraud.
Well, yes, he is.
You
and
keep getting your anger out, dog. It's
with
good
that
for you.
round 16 bye,
Yeah.
he can go.
You're thinking about it.
Sure am.
Goodness.
This guy needs to go, and I'm not talking about Maric because that might not be my choice.
What?
Jake,
How's he not your negative 3?
Oh, don't. I got Bowie. Jake, again, second week running. 65 backed up, he's 63. He's one of the guys that I'm just hanging on to, waiting for it the right time to come to get rid of him. And while I do that, his price is going down, down, down. Prices are down.
Your BNF count is going to be amazing because Bowie's going to go dung, 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 up to the top.
Yeah.
And then dung, 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 dung.
Yeah.
How cool would that
Back
be if the
down.
Brownlow was like that?
Yes.
The umpires could judge their
Negative
worst
3.
threes.
Take votes off people.
You're out.
I love it.
That would be awesome.
That would make it entertaining to
It
watch,
would
I
be.
reckon.
Dog, have you got anyone?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, how many? We got all day?
We've just got one.
Well,
I'll give you one.
I want to know where you'll go.
I'll give you a hard watch. And you said, oh, you're not a hard watch. Did you watch Isaac Rankin? 63. They won by 90.
That's a hard watch.
That's not good.
They kicked 21 goals.
Yep. Dog,
And
I
he still
agree.
had like 86% time on ground because that's sometimes the hard watch on him, that he rides the pine a little bit there. 43% CBAs, no excuses. And you say you're welcome to everyone that listened to you about Myers.
Yes.
You reckon I was doing a disservice to people saying, don't get Rankin.
Correct.
Here is why.
Thanks. Good to see
He
you
might
still
as well
helping
have-
everyone out.
Yes,
He may as well have been subbed out, which was the story of the weekend.
it was.
There's that many subs. So I've got my little whinge stories, but Riley Bice, so he was subbed out after 9 points, mate.
That's
That was not
unacceptable.
good. To come on
How did
for
he avoid it?
Caden Cleary, who came
they
on for 8
tagged?
points. So that was an on and off. Oh, well, there's 2 of the dogs. But it actually started back on Thursday night when Levi Ashcroft was subbed out. We can probably see that as a bit of glass half full positive. That's his little rest, maybe.
Yeah,
I think so.
And he'd still pumped out a score that we had to all take.
Well,
That's like
57.
at
That
least
was in my top 5 scores, I think, for the week.
That's true.
That night too, Zach Johnson, I bought him in, and he looked okay, but he got subbed out for 34.
Oh, you were playing with fire.
Well, I didn't deserve Mattaes Phillipou. It was a terrible pick.
Yeah, it was, but...
To get subbed out on 2.
Well,
Now, what was his story?
writing was on the wall. He hurt himself during the week.
Oh, my God. We'll get to the news later. This game,
This is ridiculous.
it's driving
It is.
me away from it. I'm a nice person.
Well, that's yeah,
When it
challenge
comes
that.
to this, though,
When you've had a big dog, you are.
That's true.
when it comes to this, far out. Look at them. But you had subs too, Maric.
Yeah, look, that's the sub that's going to stay subbed, I think. That's
Yeah.
not a sub. That's an omission.
This has
like
been
he's gone.
unfolding.
Yeah, it is.
hasn't it?
Yep, and it's right in front of us.
And anyone that said, "Oh, I need a warm body," and kept trainer in
Oh,
the end,
yeah, because
he was subbed out.
And I know why people did that.
I was actually looking at it.
I considered it myself, but then I just thought, got to take that money and run.
You do.
But no, frustrating. I'll tell you what,
Boxell
I've
might as
spoken-
well have been sub 49%
He
time
does
on
that.
ground.
Yeah.
He does that. That's ridiculous. If he gets subbed, man, that's just 20% game time, isn't it? But I spoke to some people that dodged some bullets over the weekend, and there were some good teams out there.
Oh, some teams are flying.
Yeah, if you dodge bullets on the weekend, humming.
Well done, Neos. Right, cash cow of the week. 5 votes goes to Joe Fonte. He scored 86.
Fonte.
Yep.
Your man.
You're welcome.
Well, you're welcome. Go and have a look at his previous scores. Just
Beach
right.
balls.
Yep. Well done.
So he was playing off halfback. Those points flow there for them. So that was his
Correct.
best game. 17 touches, 6 marks, 6 tackles. Perfect. Dan
does.
Curtin was good with a 79. That was like the Crows game. Like no one scored a ton in that.
No.
But a lot of guys just scored well.
Yep.
Like all right there.
That's back to back for him.
Yeah. Yep. 7 marks,
Keep an eye
5
on him.
tackles.
Okay.
Patrick Voss for Freo scored 77. He was that was his best ever fantasy return. The big thing for him, he had laid 9 tackles because it was wet up there in that game, but the extra 36 points for him was huge. 2 votes, Connor O'Sullivan. He's just been pretty good this year. Been
He has.
quiet lately. He had last week off managed, but he's up 198k for the season, so 20 disposals, 5 marks against the Eagles. So
Good player.
yeah, that's it. And Elijah Hewitt gets a 1 vote. He had 75. So he's been sort of the second or third banana for the Eagles over the last month. So, yeah, 20 disposals, 4 tackles and a goal. That'll take that. Levi Ashcroft still leads with 21 votes. Zach Reed, 17, and Xavier Lindsay, 13. But not much knocking on the door there of any of these recent scorers.
Here's the news of the week you need to know on the official AFL Fantasy podcast.
Alrighty, Cal, your new recruit, Kyle Lohman.
Yeah.
Were you sweating at quarter time? Because he was good. He had 20-odd points in the first quarter.
So I was like, yeah, there, here comes an 80, maybe a ton.
Yep.
I got a little excited.
Bit of an ankle.
He did tweak it,
Went
yes.
down into the room.
Straight down. I don't like when they go straight down there.
No.
That's the flag, isn't it?
It is.
Straight down to the room.
Oh, I hate that.
Not just sitting on the pine.
Look, he's the kind of guy that enjoys being injured. Like he loves
He's had
it.
a fair bit of ankle
Yeah, he
issues.
loves
Yeah,
it.
he's coming off a horror run.
So he went down there, maybe a little jab, bit of tape. He was fine.
Sam Durham, the sound, he hurt his ankle early. That meant he played forward in the end. So he only had 11%
He was proppy.
CBAs. Yeah,
Real proper.
real
but
proper.
But they kept
he's
him out
still
there.
off it a bit, though.
He did.
He's- Yeah.
So they could have subbed him out and kept my man Johnson out there.
Wouldn't have made a difference, dog.
Lipinski concussed. Lockie Schultz a hammy. Oh, Lipinski's concussion, that came from the Meek one, didn't it? Is that where that
Yeah,
one
it was.
came?
I
Yeah,
think
and
so.
Meek was fine
Yeah,
too
he's right.
off that.
Yeah.
So just a contest, didn't get suspended. Dylan Moore hurt his ankle early on, but he was okay and actually probably scored all right too. Like at
Yeah, 80.
89 or something, I think it was. Carl Warner, hamstring awareness. He was subbed out in the third quarter for Freo there with that. But Wagner also had a bit of a hammy issue, but he played on. Now,
Hang on a second.
Yeah,
I think I've always thought they're
they're the same person.
I think you're
There's
right.
2 of them.
Cow Ward, very sad news
Oh,
with
terrible.
his knee. So fingers crossed he's just all good. But he must have inspired them at 3/4 time when he gave him that
Yes.
speech.
That was
It'll
awesome.
go down
That's
in
very
history. His story.
Yeah.
Uh,
Real cool.
Mattaes Phillipou.
Here we
The
go.
lower leg that he went out
Here
with
we
5 minutes in. So straight to the rooms.
That's just unlucky.
Here it is. 2 points. Then Gabbo, Josh Gavlich. Mattaes Phillipou isn't expected to miss a game. Injured his calf at training this week. Before being subbed out 5 minutes in Alice Springs. St Kilda confident will face the Western Bulldogs after the bye, so they've obviously got the bye.
Look, who's ticked that off?
So
Who ticked that off?
he lasted how many minutes from this lingering injury?
5 minutes. 2 points.
Do they not understand how this all works as well?
Well, they're not exactly humming either, really. I mean,
No.
they went all right on the weekend.
57k he lost
That's
me
pretty
as
risky.
well. Off the back of
not
that.
good, dog. Not good.
It's just not fair.
No,
It's just
part
not
of it's fair.
Nasiah, he went off in that second quarter with the HIA because Hayden Johnson, we don't have the results of that, but bye,
Yep.
mate. He's
Yeah.
gone.
Gone.
So, but he passed it and then came back on, and his cow liked to stroke it over there about his new trade in.
Switched him on. Sometimes
What
you
was
need a
it?
knock to the
How
head.
did you say? 98.
96 in the second
96
half.
in the second
Sometimes a good old whack to the head, Roy, will straighten you up.
Yeah, I only caught the end of that game, probably the last quarter, and he was amazing.
Yeah.
And they could not go near him. He was elite.
Just a very good player.
He is.
Not a hard watch.
No.
So the first half was, though.
Oh, here we go.
Like, he wasn't concussed for that 21 points in the quarter and a half.
No, I agree, dog. He was a hard one.
Liam Ryan, corked thigh for him in the last game. And Bailey Smith, hammy. Cramp it was, he said. And he goes, I haven't had cramp before in the post.
See, he's buying into this Geelong I'm an idiot narrative, right? Like, just because they do this sort of stuff, Bailey, doesn't mean you need to join them.
Well, there's like a succession plan in place. I've
With
decided.
Danger.
Because Danger used to be
Yes.
drama filled.
Yes.
Now he's turned into like the toughest player
In the world, yep.
In the AFL.
Yep.
Bigger, stronger, tougher, unbreakable.
Likeable.
Bull.
Yeah.
Likeable.
Yep.
Lovable.
Yeah, yes.
My favourite player.
Yes.
Now, Bailey, he's doing
Don't do it, Bailey.
the silly things.
Don't.
Remember when Danger wasn't the biggest, strongest man on the planet in the midfield that game, and he was on his knees and he was trying to wave to
That's
the bench
right,
and
yes,
couldn't
yes.
hold himself up
Yep.
and come back out 10 minutes later.
And he runs back up the race,
Yeah.
and then a hero
Yes.
comes along as he
That.
comes running out. Yeah.
Bailey's
Yep.
he's gone into that mode.
You don't have to do it, Bailey. You're good enough.
Do you know, I wouldn't be angry about him doing that if I had to just flick the C on.
him, yeah. But what is there an
Is
issue?
your top 5 captain this week?
Checking notes. You'll have to wait till we go live, 6:15.
There's just no issues. He's
No.
not jabbing his shin
Okay.
bone.
There's no.
He's not got a hamstring injury.
He didn't.
we just
Mitch say that he
put the
trained
same-
this week more than he ever has.
Drew.
Drew said that.
Drew.
The goat.
Oh
Right.
my God! There's votes on the line. Don't get their
Yes,
names mixed
exactly.
up, man.
Well, I get
They're all
confused.
vying
I
for.
get
So you
confused.
disrespect
Journo of the
Bailey
year.
Smith, now you're disrespecting Drew Jones.
Well, I got him mixed up with old Mitch. Sorry, Drew. Thing is, though. The
Hang
thing is,
on.
though.
That
Hang
won't
on
go
a
down
second.
well.
I think I've always thought they were the same person.
Oh, so either way, Bailey.
At least we now know that a goat is different to a rhino. That's the other one.
Yeah, true. So many animals.
What's Mitch? We've got
Mitch.
a goat. We've got a rhino.
He's an owl. He's
An
just
owl.
wise.
He's real wise, isn't he? Yeah.
Very measured.
Yep.
Takes his time to observe it all going on,
Calculated.
and then very calculated responses.
Head can turn
Yes.
360.
Yeah.
He's a legend.
Yeah, darts around.
Owls wear glasses.
They
too,
do.
don't
They do.
They're very. Yep.
I think I've nailed it.
Yeah.
He's the wise old
Other
owl.
breaking
Right.
news: the work group chat. I've just been beaten in draft at work by a team called Stephen Hawkins Football Boots. Now, auto drafted, has not touched his team since.
Don't give up.
It's not even that hard.
Stop
He says,
looking at anything.
do we want some tips?
Dog.
This
Just give up.
is forcing me towards a retirement. And I was going to say early retirement, but no, I probably should have retired years ago. All right. Magoo's News, couple there. We better talk about Tom McCarthy, who was taken at pick number 1. And he's going to be Cow's nemesis soon.
I call him Maric.
I just hang
So-
on. I need to back up a sec. What happened to your team?
Why are you doing this to yourself?
That's in draft as well.
You've stuffed that up
everything's
as well.
Cooking.
Do you know
Right, we're
what's
talking
happening?
Magoo's
What?
News.
He's listening to people again.
Oh,
No, I'm
dog.
not. I'm
He
not.
is.
The others.
The others, the other content creators. Dog.
Selby is the only one I listen to, and that's actually probably an issue this year, Selby.
You're not
If you're
paying
listening.
attention. No.
Are you listening to
Selby's
Roy's?
not telling you to do these things
No.
you are doing.
Tom Stewart? No, I didn't get
I
it.
know who he is. His boss, the mustard.
The must
He's
actually.
stitched him up
Yes.
just to get a laugh.
DJ is, because he's now gone in front of me too.
You are
Oh, no.
Because he's got a bad team.
You are the
You
joke.
two are shocking.
At AFL House, they're all walking around
Thick
going,
as thieves.
see what Warnie got? They're having a laugh.
Right, let's do Magoo's News.
You got him.
Have you heard how long this podcast is going for? No one will be listening to this.
Switch on, go.
Tom
Magoo.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
West Coast, their number 1 pick, had 26 disposals, 5 marks and a tackle, scored 90. So remember, he's a 230k defender mid, was averaging 81 in the VFL for
Bargain.
Richmond. So, could come in
Yeah.
to play the Maric role.
Well, Maric doesn't have a role.
No, he's been
Yep.
Winging it.
bumped.
They can't find a spot for him
They found
anymore.
one.
Except
They did.
the vest.
On the bench, mate.
Clay Hall scored 125 in that game, and Campbell Chester, that was his first game back. And if you don't mind, first game back, scoring 98. It's
good effort.
Well done. Liam McMahon was one of the Bombers' picks there, so he kicked a couple of goals, 10 touches, 6 marks, and scored 58. Obviously, a smaller forward there, 230k for average 68 for Carlton in the VFL. Other VFL numbers of note, Harry Roaston, so he got dropped, or we played as a sub a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
Scored 133 off the back of 26 disposals, 2 goals, 8 marks, and 7 tackles. Leaky, 122. Stoney, 121. Although Stoney's now gone. Is he gone for you too?
Yeah, he'll come in.
Yeah, that'll happen.
See that
Our little pig, Mitchell. Tom Mitchell's had 29 disposals.
Oh, he's back.
97.
Good on him.
Dematia had 94. Steen, 87. Now, Roan Steele was another one of those mid-season draftees, 230k mid. He had 24 disposals, 7 marks, and 85 for the Pies, but God, tough team to
You're not
crack
getting in
into.
there.
Seamus Mitchell, 146. He's been in some form, as is Sam Butler with 131. And last weight, just better mention him, he had 108.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
Again. Boydie.
My
Could
boy.
he come in?
My boy.
149 he had.
Of course he did.
He's just going to be that VFL
Monster.
He's
that we'll
always
see.
been a monster.
Hugo Garcia, though.
A goose monster, he is.
Hugo Garcia, they've got the bye obviously this week, but he had 149 off the back of 35 disposals and 12 tackles.
He responds. He responds to copying.
And we do
Wow.
love finding a random one in there. Hugh Dixon, you might remember, he's probably been a bench rookie for us at one point there. Plays for Southport, 13 snags he kicked, 15 marks, 207.
I know what his nickname would be.
Hugh.
Yes.
Hugh Dixon.
Yeah.
Jeez, you're funny, Roy.
Well, not.
You're on today.
Anything in this cow?
Oh, jeez, I don't know, Dog.
You didn't write anything down.
No,
I'm
you know
rattling
me.
you.
His parents knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing, yes.
Do you know, I heard this one the other day. TJ, a kid, Indiana Jones.
That's cool.
Dead set.
Yeah, I've taught a Harley Davidson. No, I have.
That's cool too.
And a Dermot Burton.
You know how
Have you really?
Yes, I have.
You know how sometimes parents say we need to wait till we see the kid before we name it?
Yep.
That's what happened with Hugh.
All right. Anything for tag words? Probably not. Yes,
Well,
no, maybe.
The only one is Bedford. Bedford will go to Butters because he went to him last year. Held Butters to a 67. We'll have a look at Butters in a minute because he's obviously a target this week. But I think you can wait a week on a guy like that with the Bedford tag coming up.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, not a lot there, Dog.
Now I
Next.
wanted to find my new song.
Yeah, I
For this.
started working on it.
Did you find one?
Yeah, I did, but it's not quite finished yet. It's not that simple, Dog. You're like, oh, okay, I'll write a song. It's more, there's more to it than just writing a song.
I can only imagine.
The instruments, the voice tuner thing that I do to myself. You know how I twist that knob slightly?
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a bit going on.
Make it
Well,
really
this is
high.
the one I was thinking of because this came into my head when I was thinking of it, but I can't find the bit. This song, bit of 28 days.
Love this song.
And because it's like, goodbye again. Because this is the goodbye. So that would fit this week.
Tick. I don't like that.
That
Well
would have
done.
been the one. Anyway,
Oh.
can't find that little bit there.
My songs are better.
That's a banger, though.
It is a banger.
28
Even though,
days.
I'll tell you what, we get criticised for our
Music. Yes, we
tastes.
do.
And that would be another reason why. 28 days from Frankston, I reckon.
Oh, elite, though.
Yes.
But if you went to university with us
Oh.
25 years ago, we were cool.
Super cool. Remember, we
Remember
got
watching
we
them at
got
the
up
uni
in
bar?
Yeah. Remember, they played with Area 7 once.
Yeah.
And we got
Yeah.
to go backstage
Sick, man.
and shared the chicken. There was free chicken. It's delicious.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. This is the good bye.
Yes.
Because we only have 2 teams on the bye, and they're not a massively popular players coming from these. So it is Fremantle and St Kilda. So when we look at the popularity, Boydie's the most popular because he's everyone's R3. But
Of course he is.
then Boxall, who shouldn't be counting anyway for
No,
you
he doesn't.
as a player. Marshall's there. So Marshall, because you've got your mix of rucks essentially. It's Max. You've got Max, you've got X, and you've got Marshall as sort of your big 3.
Yes.
As you would have. So that sort of shows where the popularity is. And a few people did obviously buy into Marshall a couple of weeks ago,
Yeah.
which worked out well for that first week. And was all right on the weekend.
It was okay.
wasn't it? Yeah. But that's there. And this is where some of that strategy is the nice one. People will probably just go from Marshall to X. And
That was a lot of their plans.
that's the strategy. Now, Sinclair and Asaya are in there. Max Hall, who had a good score as well, didn't he? I think he did.
I think he hung in there for a 70 or so.
Yep. McRae's still held by a few, but they're probably starting to become some ghost ships, I would say. Brayshaw's there.
Yes.
And Simpson, who's injured now. But Cal, Land, Murphy, Reed, Toby Travalia, Caleb Sarong, and LJ. They're all 10% or more owned. So most teams should be feeling pretty good, I reckon, this week. So once you go through your teams, you've done your trades and all that, how many do you have playing this round? I've got a full 22.
Well, that's a good comeback.
You're back, dog.
No, well, I'm not, because I've only got 17 proper players.
Yeah.
But that's better than what I had last week, because my 14 proper players actually became about 6.
Yeah.
For scoring.
Yeah, no, that just was unlucky. So I'll only have 21, but I call 18 of them proper.
Oh, of course. You're always better.
Isn't he?
Always better.
I've got less.
Oh, but you got
21.
But I've got more proper players than you.
Last time I looked, 21 is less than 22.
Well, but 18's more than 17.
Yeah, boy.
What are you looking at, Cal?
I'm about the same as you. Well, no, I'm not. I'm actually way better. But number-wise, I'm the same. So 22 on, I reckon, but 17 proper players. But the definition of a proper player is sliding very quickly when I'm counting Bowie's 60s.
He got you up there, mate.
Nah.
He must be proper.
And he's bringing me down.
He is.
So, yeah, I should have about 17 proper players.
Yeah.
Is Maric a proper player?
No, he's traded this week.
Right.
He won't even get a game there, dog.
Levi was a proper player for me last week in my proper count, but now, he's out. Are you counting him as a proper player?
I'm trading him.
See, there he goes. Look at that.
Juniors. All right, so buy strategy now.
Yes.
Buy strategy now is all about trading out players, but it's all about trading in players who have come off their buy, and that is your ideal strategy. So why? Because they don't have a buy to come. So the simple thing, and that's what we've sort of always gone on about, what we've always tried to do, and in a way, it's like finding that upgrade, that premium that you want that's going to be that keeper for your side.
Like there's players that you would prefer, if you look at 2 trade targets next to each other, there's guys you would prefer, but they've got that buy coming, like Dog said.
Yeah.
You just got to remind yourself you're getting 2 out of the alternative.
Yeah.
Like 2 out of it. 2 games.
Yeah.
It's just a significant thing. So obviously, yes, like you said, Dog, strategy-wise, we have to target them.
Right. So let's have a look through each position then, and this is probably a good way to do it. Defenders. The defenders that you want. Do we want Connor Rozee?
Yes.
All right, because he gained his defender status last week, so a lot of coaches obviously have him, so they can flick him back. But if you don't have him, he should be a high target.
Yeah. He's on a need-to-have basis.
He is.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, that's as simple as we need to have. What about Sheasel? So he's
Interesting.
1,048,000 is Rozee. Sheasel's 10K cheaper. I would not encourage anyone to buy into him.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's a hard watch.
Yeah.
Because I'm in a price bracket where I can get that.
Yep.
And I'm thinking...
You just can't do it.
I just can't do it based on role. Like, if he was at half-back, you lock him in without thinking for that price. I don't know at the moment if he's half-back, if he's half-forward, or he's a midfielder.
So he's got the Eagles this week, which we saw those big scores last week that the Cats got.
Yeah.
So he could be amongst it.
He could.
But the role, it's too big of a
Like,
concern.
Myers played half-forward, and he did that.
He got behind.
Surely
Yeah.
Sheasel pushes back and does it.
He should score well.
He
Great
should.
matchup, ticks all the boxes, but
It's
you're just not
that
buying into the
It's
role.
the ability to score well against good teams in that role.
Yeah.
Now, Bailey Dale should be on the shopping list, as we saw
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago, was that massive 154, but then the week after was only 64 against the Cats. So I wouldn't let that sort of put me off too much because his break-even still sits at a 94, so you're probably getting him at value, if you want to call it that, 959K.
If that's your price bracket,
Yeah.
then that's not a bad buy.
It's not.
Is he a better option than Rozee for almost 100K cheaper? Or what
Nah,
is it? 90K cheaper?
I still go Rozee there. He's in a class above, worth paying for. But the thing I like about Dale, after this week, their draw opens
So they've
right
got
up.
Hawthorn this week,
Yeah.
but it's still at Marvel, so that's got to be a
so
positive
he should
in
be
that.
fine.
St Kilda, Richmond, Sydney, who are no longer, and then North Melbourne. Like, it's just a great month.
Yeah, so he'll have a good...
And should be bulk points through these buys. That's the other
Yes.
side of it. Like, you actually got one of those popping type scores,
Having
hopefully, is what you need.
Sealing guys to cover you through, those vests and stuff like that. Vitally important.
Did you hear what Dale did on the weekend?
Dug a hole.
He dug a hole, dog. He dug a hole.
Good one, Cow.
Warnie fell in it.
He did. Not bad.
All right, a couple of other names worth mentioning is Miles Bergman. That is Miles. Yeah, Miller's the other one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Miles.
Hang on.
For Port
Hang
Adelaide.
on.
Hey, what?
Wait
Wait a minute.
Right, so Berger, 723k. It's
very cheap.
With
Very
a 51 break even. He's coming off 88.79 and a ton there as well. Why didn't I write every single digit down of that? It was a 112.
Yeah.
So that midfield time was
Yeah.
there. So the one where he scored the 79, he had to move back
That's
in that.
right.
So
He
you
did.
could almost say that could have been another ton the way he was tracking
Yes,
because it
that
was
was
a big
definitely
score.
on track. So, yeah, he's at that price. If that role's going to continue, he's a bargain.
And so we'll talk Port Adelaide, and we've got Rosie obviously at the top there, but they've got the Giants this week, which could be a tougher thing, although
They're
some
not-
of those Tigers scored all right on the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Melbourne should be all right. Sydney should be all right. Carlton should be all right. So,
But
they'll go three after this week. They go three in a row at Adelaide Oval.
Do they?
See, he could be an option for people for like a bias.
Yeah.
Yep.
The flag is Hornbag's probably only a couple of weeks away.
Well, Hornback could be back this week. I don't think he
I
will
don't
be.
believe in that.
Anyway, but at that price,
Yeah.
for
Oh,
a
100%.
buy play,
Yeah.
it's not a.
Now, there are a lot of other names sort of that are in this mix here, but they're just not ones that we really want to buy into. What I've actually looked at when I've looked at all of these names is that I don't love this round.
No.
These teams that are on this buy coming out of it that you really want. So that's where we're at with those guys. Harman is probably the mid-price cheap player that you could consider. Now, it's not one that you're mega into. 491k, like that could be if you needed to do the sideways shuffle as such from a bias. That could work because he's going to then play through the buys here. He had 106 in his last game.
He
and
was
that's
the main
thing.
guy back there
Yep.
in that.
Is there just a bit too much unknown with that? Because it was only 44 the week before
Yeah.
that, 64,
I wouldn't want
73,
to buy
45.
into
No, I'm
it.
not buying
But
into
he
that.
looked
But his
amazing
break
and
even's
his role
one.
was
So
good.
if you think that he can do that
Yeah.
for these next 4 weeks, well, that's a great
Yeah.
player that's
Little
going to make
mid-price cash cow.
100 plus K
Yeah.
over these next few weeks.
Yep. Fill a hole.
If he can do that. All right, let's look at the midfield. And the number one shopping target for people would be the Bont. So $1,058,000 you pay for him. He's back, and we're happy.
Yep. So Bont does this. I think his last 3 scores are just a tick over 100. They're
They
only a
are.
tackle away from being 390s, and you wouldn't be interested.
Yeah.
So you got to think about that as well, because there's other guys pumping out ceiling scores around him. But sometimes I just think the Bont is the Bont, and the Bont's going to pop one sooner rather than later.
And it's not a good matchup this week.
So he probably cops Nash.
He will get
You would
Nash.
think so.
He got Nash in the elimination final last year, and he was held to 72.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, this is a Thursday game, so you're going to have to
I
go
have to
early
pull
on it as well.
Yeah.
But if you didn't want to get Bont this week,
Yeah.
then I don't think you're going to miss a lot. Whereas you can buy in next week when the draw gets a bit
And
easier.
that, like we said, Saints, Richmond, Swans, North, like it's a great little
is.
run there.
The only
for
problem
that.
is sometimes you just
Yep.
better to get him when you can, because you never know what will happen next week.
Yep.
And you might not be able to get him.
Fall in a hole.
You might.
19k
Dale.
cheaper is Ed Richards. So he's actually firing now. So he's got a break even of 94. So you're probably getting him at a more fairer price, if you want to call it that, for what he's potentially able to do. So his go,
He looks great.
he's going backwards, 115, 103, 131, 119. So that is obviously with Bont back in.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the flag here is that Treloar looks like he could be back this week.
Oh, this week, is it?
Mm.
Right, that is that's a bit of a flag for a few of them, really.
Yeah.
Very interesting. We'll need to watch that.
Libba.
Oh, like
He's a little bit
jet as
cheaper.
well. But surely Treloar coming in takes a little bit out of all of these guys.
You would think so.
So Libba, he's gone 110, 108, 140 in his last 3. And obviously, guess what? He plays for the Dogs, so he's still got that same draw coming up. Pretty good.
Gee, they're going to feast through that.
They
All
will.
of
Want
these.
them all.
They will.
If someone said to you at the start of the season you get Butters for 966,
Jump
now
on.
coming off
Bang.
the bye would be doing
Jump
it.
on.
But why aren't we?
What's
Tag watch was
It's the
said.
Bedford tag, as I said. So Bedford went to him last year, held him to 67. The year
that's
before
just-
that, he had an 88 and a 121.
You just can't risk that.
You're not buying into that.
No.
But, Roy, you could next week.
Next week.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess the thing is, though, his break-even's at 146.
Yeah, so he's going to be low 900s.
He's coming off 85-46 against the Cats and 95 against the Crows. So the numbers haven't massively been there.
No.
No, he's copped a bit of attention.
I'd jump into the name, though, after this week.
You would?
I'd take this week's price
So they
drop.
go D's after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd take this week's price drop, and then I wouldn't worry about the break-even leading into the Ds. I'd launch.
So, Roy, Butters or Bont? Because that's about 100K difference.
This week, I'm taking Butters' price drop this week when he gets Bedford.
Okay, so you'll go
I'd go Bont
Bont
over
this
Butters.
week. And
Who
look at
scores
Butters,
more?
for the rest of the year.
Nash versus... Bont versus Nash or Butters versus Bedford?
Bont.
Bont will be fine this week, I reckon.
Yeah.
I even think Nash might mix it up.
Yep.
Have to go to a couple of them.
Yep.
Try to be a cooler.
Now, we've been there before, but Ollie Wines, 891K. His form is solid.
It is, but don't.
But we're not doing that.
111, 127, 97, which
Look-
sits his break even at 59.
Mate, we're not even gutsy enough to move the C onto Bailey Smith versus the Eagles.
yes.
I don't think we're launching into Ollie Wines.
Because, yes, Horn Francis will be a watch. I do think that he might still be out this week.
Okay.
That's
I reckon.
why Dr. Phil
Okay.
of it.
Thanks.
Dr. Phil.
Yep.
Get it?
What, did you feel him? Well, I don't get what you mean.
Dr. Phil.
The
What
show.
about Phil? Right, play on.
No, I didn't.
In the
get it.
ruck, ex-Erie.
He's the one.
So
Yes.
Tristan Sherry, it is that move. If you did have your Marshall and you were playing that game, do you just do it?
Yes, you just do it.
Nike.
I think you do, don't you?
The matchup this week is just ridiculous.
and it's just X is about to go nuts.
Yep.
X could be number one on your list, Cal.
Could be. So last year against the Eagles, 168, 129. A 155 2 weeks ago. These is the areas we could see. So you have a look at the scores that people have had against the West Coast Rucks. Let's go back. Even Riley O'Brien 2 weeks ago, 128. Marshall, 158. Then we got Max, 158.
Yeah, you just do it.
Meek, 131.
Yeah.
Like, it's just there.
Yeah.
So, yes, you
It
do
was
that this
part
week.
of your plan. Now
And-
execute it.
Yep. So
Well done.
what, cost,
Like
you
the
about cost you about 100K or so, 110.
Oh, find it. Yep.
or
You
whatever.
need to do it.
You like the execute.
I did. I don't think you meant it, but you did it.
Execute. You'll put that in Fantasy Ready this week,
I'll
won't
put
you?
it in every damn article.
Oh,
I
stock
can
take,
write.
sorry.
Stock take.
That's
Yeah,
the
stock
one you
take.
write.
So if it gets in stock take, it gets in fantasy ready.
Do you know
Cut
Ready,
and paste.
Ready overtook the numbers for the stock take?
What? No, it didn't.
It did.
Did.
There was an asterisk though, but
Why? What happened? What happened?
Don't know.
Did it really?
It did. I had a complete advertising ban for the week. That didn't help me.
Right, let's move into the forward line. Is Matt Kennedy someone
Oh,
we can
man.
buy into at that price? 1,032,000. Now, if you look at the numbers,
They say yes.
look what he's done.
He's done nothing wrong.
111, 113, 114, 111. That's for 111 pluses in the last 4 weeks.
It's a joke.
The one before that, 107, 109. So he's actually gone 107 plus for 6 weeks straight.
It's ridiculous.
And
is
they've got this
ridiculous.
nice run coming up.
They do. So the flag, Trelaw's coming back.
Okay.
Does it cause everyone to get bumped down a spot somewhere? Like, it's not like he's relying on huge CBAs, I don't think. But there's got to, gosh, that's just 100 points that has to go to someone else, Trelaw coming back.
Yeah, so over the last, 3 to 4, 5 weeks there, he's been about the 55% CBAs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he doesn't need them.
No, you'd think he'd still be hitting around 50 mark, but
Yep.
It's one to watch. And yes, dog, it's hard one to swallow because he's gone up nearly 300K, I think, since we should have
It's
got
just
him.
one of those ones. We missed him.
Oh,
Thanks, badly.
See ya.
yeah. Who had that in the record? Who was in charge of that?
Yeah, probably me.
Dog.
I probably spoke about him, though.
You would
Actually,
have.
no, Dog's had a lot.
Yeah,
They
but
would've.
we would have talked about him because
Definitely.
we all loved him at Carlton when they actually showed him a bit of
Well, no, I
respect.
would have done because of the stats.
There is.
When you can find a cherry pick stat,
Yeah.
they obviously get in the record off the back of that.
Yeah.
Now, the rest of the forward line is a tricky one to look at. Like, you're looking at blokes like Harry Mackay is the next in-form player that's coming off the bye. He's averaging 91 in his last 3, actually. But you can't be buying him.
Correct.
Yeah.
No,
No, you can't.
I can't believe you mentioned the
But
big
this
fella.
is where we're at. One that
No, forward line is hard.
Cooper
at
Lord,
the moment.
could you look at him?
What's Coop been doing?
Coop, 87, 71, 75 in his last 3.
And how much is he?
Break even of 26, 491.
Interesting option as a placeholder throughout the buys.
561. Isn't he?
Oh, 561.
Oh,
isn't it?
dog.
Yeah.
God,
Surely. Oh, 561.
Yeah, significant
Who's
difference.
491? No.
it's a big
There's a
one.
5 in front of him
Yeah.
now.
Why are you trying to stretch the
Oh,
forwards
I
out
don't know
so
what
far?
I'm trying to. Well, because there's not much here.
There isn't.
Could you
Move
buy
on then.
Caleb Daniel if you didn't have him?
No.
No.
Everyone, people sold him.
Yes.
And then you're getting,
Caleb
Simpkin.
Daniel.
You can't get Simpkin.
No. Caleb Daniel's interesting because he's still going to be handy for people that held as long as She's is up the ground.
Yep.
He's coming away to
She's
Bali
is-
with me at the moment.
If She's is coming back, that's going to be a bad hold. Should have moved,
Yes, because Daniel had a good game
He had a
before
90,
a 94 before his bye.
which broke all his run of like 70s
Yeah.
and just nothings.
Now, I guess the rest of this, so it's not actually a great week of trades.
I think it is.
It is.
I think there's enough
Get
for you
those
to
dogs.
happily go shopping.
Yeah, but you're not really getting many cheap guys, are you?
No.
And that's the thing. We're going to be finding people that have still got a buy to come, possibly coming into our sides.
Yes.
So, Kai Lohman, could you still buy him?
I think he's
At
too much now.
$3.92.
I think last
So
week
where'd he
when
go?
Cal got
41K.
him, felt like that was your opportunity.
Yeah, even
Obviously-
last week, I felt like I was paying too much last week.
Yeah.
But I just didn't want to go any lower.
Now it's near that 400.
You could if you were really, really...
And if everything
Crows,
still
Giants,
worked,
Cats.
if everything still worked with that instead of a punt on
Yes.
some random,
Yeah.
I think you could do it still.
Yeah.
Caleb Mitchell was, I guess, the rookie of the week.
Yeah.
Scored 51. So he went up, 22K doing that?
What he did looked okay
Yeah.
out there. He's
So-
got a nice matchup if he is at half back.
Yes.
Break even of 8.
Yep.
Yep.
He floated across and got a few back there.
If bias is omitted, that his stocks rise.
You'd think so.
Yep. So he's mid only, is one thing that you've got to consider about where you're shopping with that. But the rest of them, it's just really tough.
Yeah.
Campbell Gray scored 50. He's 301.
Nah. Can't force the issue here. Until Thursday night, dog, there is literally no real option.
Any of those mid prices, like Sheldrick's at 561.
That's his third 80 in a row.
Yep.
But what's he got? 2 more games before his bye? No, 1 more game before his bye.
I know, but it's a juicy
It's
one.
a good one.
Tigers.
If that fit your buy structure and you've just got money sitting there and you could get a red dot to him, I don't hate that as
No.
a punt.
Myers.
Lock and low.
Yeah.
So
Huge
how would you
target.
feel about getting a premium here? Like, and everyone's team's going to be different with how many they've got.
Whose number was that? Craig Lowndes, 888?
Was he?
I think so. It's bargain territory.
Look, it is. It is. But I've got a lot in that round 16 buy already.
Yeah, okay.
But I need a forward.
Come on board.
Well, I might just need to do it.
It's a long time, isn't it? Or is it just a long time now?
No,
till that
well,
last run?
3 weeks.
Few trades still up your sleeve?
Yeah.
But you'd keep him though, wouldn't you?
After that for the Richmond game. Yes, you probably would.
One of your nicknames is V8.
There you go.
But then,
It's a sign.
so at that sort of price, maybe he is an option.
He is an option.
He's an option, boys.
There you go. Is he in Roy's weekly top trade targets?
Yeah, he'll remain in it.
Oh, good.
Like this will be the last week I can say it, given that, like you said, he does have that bye coming up. And we did speak a minute ago about how having 2 games compared to 1 is significant, but I still just think he's such value, and they've got such a good drawer. You've got to buy into a couple of cats at the moment.
So the Suns are the number 1 easiest team for midfielders to score against.
Yeah. And
At the
although he's not starting CBAs, his role is basically the equivalent of a midfielder, only you lose your opponent. So, yes, that's good for him.
Yep.
All right, the most traded in players ahead of round 13. Kyle Loman's at the top of the list, Cal.
Oh, really?
Your boy there. Marcus Bontempelli as the dog to get. Tom McCarthy, if he gets a game, he's in for a lot, I reckon. Caleb Mitchell and Campbell Gray. So people are trying to hunt some value, maybe to try to get themselves to the Bont. Which
I
would be
reckon.
a nice one to do. Now, the outs, Riley Bice after being subbed. Oh, Caden Clear after being subbed. Oh, Luke Traynor after being subbed. Levi Ashcroft after being subbed. Ryan Maric after being subbed. All subbed out players lead the most traded out this week. But that's a good reason because they've probably hit their price or some of them are dropping a little bit. Calvinator, you're seeing them well.
No, I'm not, dog.
What are you doing with your trades?
I am getting rid of Boxall, Bice, and Maric, and I will be bringing in Mitchell. Now, you reckon this Tom McCarthy will play, dog, so we'll chuck him in there as well.
Right.
And Bont will be my other one as well.
Nice.
There you go.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Tom McCarthy in as well, with McMahon from the Bombers if he gets a game. Who knows? And
Clutching.
Bontempelli. But they're all coming from guys that are basically done no good.
Yeah.
So that's how that's going to work for me at the moment. Roy, you're the one who's actually seeing them well.
I'm not seeing him very well, but I'm getting rid of Pryor, Bice, and Levi Ashcroft. So, they've been big name rookies for me, and Mitchell, Bont, and Kennedy will come in.
Got a question for the traders? Tweet the boys at AFL Fantasy or head to facebook.com/AFL Fantasy Official.
There's no way you can afford to do that.
Yeah, geez, you lie a bit on those, don't
That's
you?
ridiculous.
There was a glitch. I got cashed up.
How?
I don't know.
They gave you extra money.
It's making up for last week's
Don't even-
mistake they made.
Don't even joke about that because some people will think that's real.
It's a sorry.
I
A
got-
gift, I think.
I got extra cash at the start of the year.
I know you did. Yeah, well, watch me use mine. So, yeah, you're right. You did hear it correctly. Bont and Kennedy in for a couple of rookies out.
Dog,
You must have stole it from me.
Well, yes.
Oh, I'm glad you're happy for me, boys, that I finally have a nice-looking trade.
Yeah, well done. Questions. Hit it.
Dog's
First
not happy.
question. I'm actually just wondering whether he just wrote those down without even thinking and even pulling the trigger on them.
Have been
he's-
guilty of that in the past.
Yes, but I reckon he's a bit smug at the moment, I'll destroy.
Smug.
DSV. Is Noah Anderson an option? Or should I be looking elsewhere like Heaney for some value? Got 1.02 mil in the bank.
Right, so I said
To move on Ashcroft.
said no to Anderson because there's guys in there's guys that I prefer to him in that price bracket, and it's a definite no for me with a buy coming up.
Yeah, he's been good though. Last
He
three
has.
three scores over 115.
Yeah, he's been
So,
great.
He has been, but not with a buy coming up.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Right. Yeah, because I guess our big thing has been about getting these players that have just had their buy. That should be a key strategy. But there's a lot of names that are getting floated around here as well.
It seems like we're contradicting ourselves because we said Myers is still in the mix.
Yeah.
But Myers is a forward and he's under 900K. When you're talking about people like those Bulldogs midfielders that have finished their buy and then you compare him to Anderson, that's a different ballgame.
So Anderson's got Geelong and then he's buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too quick.
All right. So Ben wants to know, is Bergman okay to bring in this week for some cash gen so I can bank some money for the Saints boys post-buy? Because is that a thing? Like, are some of those Saints boys more important to have?
Yeah.
Like a Nasiah and a Sinclair
Yeah.
are probably on a more must-have list than some of the other players.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I wouldn't bring in, say, Kennedy this week, spending up, is because I need a plan to somehow get Nasiah next week.
Yep.
So, yes, those Saints boys are a high priority next week.
Would you get rid of Rankin or Levi first? Rankin has been very poor for Ange. Yeah.
There has been a slight role change for your hard watch, Rankin.
Yeah. Just a few less CBAs, but that's what he's going to be. I think I'd be getting rid of Levi.
You
Levi
definitely
goes
have to get
first.
rid of Levi before Rankin.
Prestia, is he going to be a Phillipou or Clary or a Long or Chera pick? We didn't mention Chera back there either.
No, gosh,
He's
handy.
good last couple of games.
Yeah.
It's just one that I don't know if I could really encourage people to buy into.
No, they have got a nice run, the Blues. Yep, good fixture. Probably,
So,
don't know.
is Prestia going to be a decent pick? You just can't do it.
We're not doing that.
Not doing Prestia.
Obviously, the bye is coming up too.
And like injury history of Prestia.
Harry's thrown out here. Vigor Visentini, Bombers ruck, could come in and give Goldberg a rest.
Really?
So therefore, could he be? He says, can you do that as a backup for Marshall? Get him on your bench.
Oh, yeah, just to get another
A
warm
body
body
on there, yeah.
Yeah, you could.
Because like anyone that's a number one ruck can be a 60 plus.
Sure.
Which is a scorer for most of us.
Would he be given the opportunity to do enough to hold Goldie out?
Oh, no.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, I wouldn't be doing it for a 1 week hit then.
No.
I'd prefer to go in with.
But he
20 or
could
something.
play a few games and make a little bit of coin for you. I don't know.
You might as well get him as well. You love getting cheap bombers into your team.
But I guess the thing on this is that's you then staying with Marshall.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you okay staying with Marshall?
No, I think you need to get on the X.
But what if you've got X and Marshall?
Then
Would
you
you be
don't- then
trying to?
You don't have Max.
No. So you'd have to stay on Marshall this week, I reckon. Could you go to English?
No.
You really
Yes.
want.
No.
He's been good.
He has.
I haven't done my.
I think I'd be holding Marshall. If you've already got X, you're just wearing that one this week.
I think you wear that. Yeah.
Who is the must-have ruck? Which one do you actually have to have then?
X.
X.
It's X, isn't it?
His run home is elite.
Yeah.
And then it's Max.
Yeah.
And
But
then
he's not a must-have. If you've got another.
I wouldn't be buying into Max at that price now.
No.
That's the other part of
Yeah.
the must-have thing.
1.2.
It's too much.
But for a reason. This is a guy that's gone 127.
It's
in
called
his last-
107 made on the weekend, which is
127
enough for
in
my
his
captains.
last
214.
8 games. Like, that is elite. He's killing it.
Yeah, he is. He just comes at a price. Whereas X, I think, is about to outscore his price for a few weeks.
I think so.
Yeah.
Ben is going Bice, Cleary and Box to McCarthy, Lord and Bont. Yep, so the Lord one,
Oh,
just
so
that mid-price from the forward line.
Yeah, he's a little bit more than my liking.
561.
I like
Sorry,
the first price you
491 was wrong.
gave for him. But
Someone else must be 491 that I've written down recently.
No, Dog, this is a good opportunity to say, we appreciate you coming in, fronting up.
We do.
And yes, you might have got the odd price a little bit wrong, but to be able to front up after that, it's like Dean Cox areas. Well done to the pair of you.
Poor old Coxie.
Yeah. I felt embarrassed when you walked in, right? So I don't know how you're feeling, but I'm just glad that you've fronted up and you're doing a pretty good
You didn't have
job.
to make it so awkward. You were like, oh, God, I can hear him coming up the steps. Act normal, act normal. Oh, hi, dog.
There's eggshells in here. Eggshells. Anyway.
Right, Sandra wants you to rank the 3 big mid-dogs in order of priority. Okay. Maybe that's a roll in 22 type thing.
Yeah.
Rank the 3 mid-big dogs in order of priority. Oh, the mid-dogs, maybe actual
It's
dogs.
literal.
Oh, the dog.
The
It's
dogs.
literal.
Sorry.
It's
So,
Bont,
Bont,
Ed,
Libber.
Yeah.
Bont, Ed, Libber. And can we consider Cripps with his juicy fixture? What is Cripper at?
He's got himself pretty good price.
It'd be real cheap.
I think
Well, he's had a
around
couple
the
of nice
950.
numbers, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So 976, and he's coming off 101, 104, 108, 95, 131.
Okay, he's been good.
For that price,
Yes, you can.
it's a tick.
Yeah. Fixture as well.
Break even
good eye.
of 99.
Great
Yep.
eye. Well done.
Yep, you can do that.
Yes, you can.
Ticking it.
Right, Jack is, I can go prior to Hardiman on field if it allows me to go Bice and Levi to Bont and Caldwell. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be getting Caldwell, but it's still a good upgrades.
It is.
That Caldwell, is that better to be a Cripps because he does play that one extra game?
I kind of feel this is a scenario where that is the case.
Yep.
We're not talking about Myers again here.
No.
There's more options in the midfield.
Cripper's been good.
Very good.
Really good.
There's a few questions.
Who would you go out of Cripps and Chera?
That's a good question. Cripper, I think.
Would you?
Yeah, I think so.
How much is Adam?
They're very
They'd have to be
similar.
very close to the
Very
price, I
similar in
reckon.
price. It's probably 40K difference.
Because Chera's had a good couple, hasn't he?
Yeah, but Cripps has had a good 6 now.
Cherry's cheaper.
9.33.
I'd be going Cherry for the cheapness.
Crikey. No, I'll take it back. You can actually consider Chera.
121, 108, the last two. They go, and this drawer, Bombers, Eagles, Roos, Port. Yep, Cherry is an option.
He's an option at that price.
Yep, he's up ahead. Maybe we need some power rankings of these players as well.
Good
who
idea.
would buy in.
We'll do that moving forward.
Because, like, you're doing him before, like, he's cheaper than Butters.
Yeah.
You're picking Cherry before Butters.
Crikey, not next week.
Not next week, but this week, yes.
This week, yes.
You're getting stuck with some things, aren't you?
Yeah.
With some trades sometimes. Do we trade Bolton on the bye? He had a good score, didn't he, on the weekend? But I would be trying to get out of.
He was tracking well, but he's someone I'd be happy to move on if I needed to for points that week.
He got to 102.
This week, sorry.
102, 67, 119 are his last 3.
He's playing really well.
He is.
I would hold unless it was really you are low on numbers and need some scoring punch.
Yep.
Who's this one? Johnny T. In a bit of a predicament looking at round 16 of 11 players out. Next week I've got 21 on field and want to build some cash gen. Should I prioritise getting rid of the Ashcroft brothers, for example, knowing I have a lot, or is cash gen more important?
It's interesting, isn't it? So I'm trying to start fixing my round 16 this week by getting rid of Levi. And I'd be 100% comfortable with keeping Levi. Before last week, I think he had a lowest score of 82 in the last month.
It was humming.
And there was a ton there.
Yep.
There's no reason he doesn't get back to that.
Yep.
But like that, I'm heavy in that last buy. So if I can start picking off a couple quietly now, I'm going to do it.
What about Walsh for Toby?
Just not an option at the moment, I don't think.
900k.
Yeah.
Hasn't hit 100 in his last 6.
Yeah.
I am Sam Walsh's biggest fanboy.
Yeah.
But let me just read through these numbers. 85, 97, 76, 84, 81, 85. I can't recommend that going into any sort of fixture, easy or not.
Hasn't even hit a 90 in his last 4. No.
I just can't do it.
Hopefully the rest freshened him
I
up.
hope so.
Right, couple of burner accounts here. Not a question, but thanks, Roy, for recommending Myers.
You're welcome.
A lot better than Calvin's recommendation of Briggs.
Okay.
Braden, thanks, Roy, for the Myers pick. +3 for Roy.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Mum. Yeah.
Did you say a couple of burner accounts?
Yes.
Fair.
Right. AC, best downgrade, sub 500k, Lohman or Hardiman. Who would you pick out of those two? Is it Hardiman because he doesn't have a bye?
Yeah. It is. And if he has that role again
100k more expensive, though, but I think you're getting 100k more value out of him. Because the thing is, your Lohman could score you a 40.
Oh, yeah, of course he could.
So he kicked his first 3 goals for the year to do
Yeah,
that.
that was amazing, wasn't it,
Yeah.
actually?
Yeah, he's going to be eventually he's a bench option only.
Yeah, and I still like him. And he's a gimme bargain for that price. But their fixture starts to get a little bit harder as well.
Yeah.
Hoopla Fish says this, just want Calvin to know I put the C on Baylor because he said not to.
Oh, no, mate. That's great. No, I told people to do it.
Yeah.
He was in my top 5.
Yeah, he was.
You were pretty rattled on Thursday night.
Very rattled.
Doing that.
Still am.
Oh, you didn't think he was going to play, though, did you?
No. I got to enter it on Thursday morning.
That's right.
So Harrison wants to know, buy a trade out or wait one more week? The choice might be made, but that's the thing on a lot of these guys. I'm going to say him. I'm going to say Bice, Trainer, all of these guys that have hit that vest. Like, do you trade them out because of the cash that they're going to lose as well?
The plan was always to keep Bice to go ham on the Tigers this week into his bye.
Yep.
He may not get the opportunity.
So his break even's about 100 now.
It is.
I think.
99.
If he's named and safe from a vest, he'll hit 85.
He should.
No problems, I would think. But
is that a little wake-up call?
Yeah. He may be dropped, though.
He may be.
Could Travalia be an option, obviously, next week?
Next week he could be. He only had a good score because while Nasai was off, he got to touch it.
Yeah, 428.
So he got to 50 by half time because Nasai sat out the second quarter.
Yep.
And then he 19 in the second half
Struggled.
when
Yeah, okay.
Nasai just hogged the pill back there.
Yep.
Instagram accounts aren't fans of Calvin.
Aren't they?
Is Calvin delusional?
Yes.
Half time and Baz has 25 touches.
Well, yes, he is delusional.
But he was top 5.
He was in the top 5.
I don't come into bat for you very often, but he was in the top 5.
Yeah.
He was a late change into the top 5.
Because I didn't know he was going to play.
Smith needs more respect.
Look, he does. You wait till you see this week's captains, mate.
Remember the time that you said that, mate, Timmy Taranto made you redundant?
Yeah, he did.
Are you going to make that call about Baz?
It's getting close. Yeah.
His numbers
they're
suggest
ridiculous.
that they should be.
Yeah. But
Although
he's got to
history
stop.
says every time you say that,
Yeah.
He's got to stop playing around with me with, I've got a sore shin. I wouldn't have played this game if it wasn't for the dogs. Not sure if I'm going to fly. I've had 3 jabs in the shin.
Never had a cramp before.
Oh, my hammy. No, stop it. You're confusing the pirate.
Yeah.
there are so many messages on Instagram about this. Tanda, thanks for the Bailey Smith captain tip again this week, Calvin. Roll eye emoji.
Oh,
Really? People. Do you know what? I told you this would happen with you ranking so well.
I know.
They turn on you.
Look, if you did not
Going to need an
captain...
apology from Calvin's captains.
No, I'll tell you what.
Zorko VC into Dawson C. Lost me my week.
Okay, if you didn't captain Bailey Smith this week,
Yeah.
Is Bailey
sucked
Smith
in.
the best captain moving forward? Wow.
Sucked in. No, that's all I'm going to say to him.
Calvin can have 10 minutes in the sin bin. This is all we get. This is all we get.
Yeah, look, I will. I'll have a good hard
Does
look at
Cal
myself.
have something against Bailey Smith? Like, seriously, this is all I'm saying. Oh, is C. Mills an option? Is that something from Cal? No, you can't go Millsy,
No.
can you?
No. Nice that something else popped in.
It was
there.
nice. Trying to break the trend.
That's between Bice and Calvin slander. That's what we got. She's or Kennedy. Oh, gosh, I just couldn't buy into Kennedy as the price, and She's or you can't buy into him for the role.
If you've got the money, you can buy Kennedy.
You can.
Yeah.
Well, it's sometimes... just look at the numbers.
Yeah.
How can you go against that? The only flag has to be Treloar coming back, and if that affects him.
All right, we better wrap this up. Time to go. One last shout out here to Andrew Domahidi. Better mention me beating Warnie.
Yeah, Andy
Yes,
got
he got you.
Far out, mate. Well done.
you. I'd be really disappointed if Andy didn't beat you this week. So
He's a good coach.
he's a good coach. He's got you covered.
And he's rubbed it in too,
Yes.
Andy.
People have been saying Warnie needs to get off this podcast and we need to get new people.
Well, we should. I'd be quite happy to.
See? You still have to press the buttons, though. I don't know how that works.
No, imagine what this would be
Can
like
you-
with you in charge.
Can you just entertain me for a second?
No.
What was your
go.
lowest point? What was your lowest point?
So you can take your Thursday nights
Yeah.
when, you lose. Everyone's got Levi Ashcroft
Yes.
still. Most coaches do.
Yeah.
You trade into a rookie, Zach Johnson, 34 subbed
Yeah.
out. You can take that.
Yeah.
Across the weekend, Zach Merritt, 94. Like, I traded him. I would have liked the 110 plus type score
Yeah.
as that instant reward.
But you could live with it, yeah.
Could live with that. Didn't have a player on Saturday afternoon at all, like in both of those games.
Nice relief.
Which was, you go, your ranking starts sliding because you don't have any players. Yeah, that's okay. Then I saw Caden Cleary get the sub. Oh, yeah, no, I can wear that, That's
Pretty thick
I've
skin.
got
old dog, doesn't
19.
he?
Then I saw Riley Bice not score. That's where it started to irritate. I started to go a little bit.
Body temperature increased.
Jordan Dawson was doing nothing in that game. Actually, it was Saturday night. Jordan Dawson doing nothing. Isaac Rankin doing nothing. That's where it was. Then on Sunday, because after this muppet over here says, all you do is sook, I don't say anything. I don't say anything. But then it's like,
However, this
Hank.
whole podcast has been dedicated to it.
it's me, myself, and Irene. I just snapped.
Did you
on
hank it?
on Sunday, when Phillipou,
Yes.
that was thrown phone. I messaged you for the first time across the weekend, Roy.
Yes. Yeah.
that happened.
I took him with open arms too.
And I was having like a bit of an afternoon nap type thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I'll lay down and watch a bit of footy.
Yeah.
That's how
Couldn't
lazy I
sleep
was.
then.
I actually kept it on Channel 7 and ads were on there after goals and put it on KO. That's where I was at. Like tired, just relaxed, laying down. And then Phillipou happened. And then Aiden Johnson ran into
Nasaya.
That was the end of it.
Any violence? Did you punch the couch or anything?
No, I
Didn't
was
you?
too far gone from that. Anyway,
We
that's
stopped.
it. That's the end of this pod.
Yep.
If we're back next week, cool. That'll be great for people. If we're not, it's been nice knowing you. Thanks very much for the whole...
Thanks for 20 years of pain. Oh, thanks for the story though, dog.
Shut up. Happy trading.
Happy trading. Oh, no.